Hey guys, I'm back. So, sorry I haven't uploaded in in a little while. I've just been very busy. But today, I really wanted to do a small review on what I think is one of the most underrated consoles of all time, the PlayStation Vita. Now, the PlayStation Vita, the first generation model, or the 1000 model, was made from 2011 to, I believe, 2014. This current model that I'm holding in my hands right now is the 2000. The 2000s are very rare because they are now only made in Japan. But I got one of the domestic ones from Canada because I bought mine back in 2013. Now I've had this for about 6 years now, for 3 years now, and it's been one of the best handheld devices I've ever had in my life. So, I'm going to get into that. Now, reason number one why I love the PlayStation Vita so much is because, I don't know if you can see this, but it has a very, very crisp and beautiful looking 5-inch display, which in my opinion is one of the best handheld console displays probably ever made. Because I don't know if you can see that, but there's no ghosting whatsoever. It's very responsive, and it looks all around amazing. Now on to reason number two. My second reason for me loving the Vita so much is not only is it a gaming console like the 3DS, like, you may say that the 3DS is, it can do web browsing and all that stuff. You're right, it totally can, but it takes about 10 minutes for it to load up Google's homepage, and halfway through that, half the time it gives up. So, yeah. So now I'm going to load up Google's homepage, and I'll be right with you. So now I do have Google's homepage loaded up, and obviously that should be a standard for anything that browses the web. But one of the amazing features about this is the power under the hood. Now this thing has about the same power as a current mid-range cell phone, and I'm talking maybe like a, what would be a good mid-range cell phone for me to talk about? Like a Galaxy Ace, I would say, is about what this is equivalent to. But also, another thing I just want to quickly mention, the build quality of this is astonishing. For something that's completely plastic, unlike the original one, which was metal, for something that being completely plastic, this is durable. I've never dropped it, I don't plan on dropping it. But I gotta say, the build quality is some of the best build quality I've ever seen. So now I'm gonna load up YouTube, and I'm gonna demonstrate another thing on this. Okay, I'm back. So I have YouTube uploaded, or I have YouTube up on the Vita currently. And another thing is this has full this has full Flash support. So what that basically means is I can load up any website that requires Flash. So that means Facebook, Instagram, the works. So if I just go on here and I go to my channels, I am signed into my account, and you may notice this thing loads it shockingly fast. I don't know how well you're able to see it, but this is amazing. Like, this is a handheld gaming console. Like, this is just supposed to do nothing but play games. Pretty awesome. So, I'm gonna get a nice video up to demonstrate the display, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. So I have this video up on the Vita. Now, one thing you may notice is it is loading up the mobile version. YouTube is the only site I found this to work on. Every other site will load in the desktop version. But I just thought I'm going to play the video, and this does play in 1080p, which is very nice. It's going to take a few seconds to load. There we go. Let me just skip ahead. If you want one of these, it'll run you about $250 on eBay, because you'll have to order these from Japan. Come on, you can do it. I think my mom's using the internet right now, so it may be slightly slow. Oh, there we go. So, as you can see, the display is shocking. It has a very good screen. Sorry I can't show you more, mainly because of copyright reasons, but you got the idea. It's pretty good. Also, you do have stereo speakers at the bottom which sound magnificent. And now I'm going to go into my next subject, which is the buttons and layout of the controls. Be right back. Hey guys, so I'm back. So I've loaded up Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Vita, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the best games on the Vita, besides Minecraft. The Minecraft is probably at my #1 spot. But I'm gonna get into this. So I'm in my beautiful Lancia Delta right here, which is very nice. But I didn't know handheld consoles could run something that's built to be run on a PS3, because this is honestly a PS3/PS4 in your pocket. like, it kind of resembles a PSP, but it's couldn't be more far from it. As you can see, beautiful. This game looks absolutely beautiful on this. Like, probably one of the best driving mechanics in the game. Again, like an arcade-style game ever. As you can see, I'm doing 10 block right now. But yeah, so that's Need for Speed Most Wanted, and now another thing I wanted to talk about is just the controls. This has probably some of the best, if the best, this probably is the best, handheld controls of any device ever. Because these little analog sticks, imagine taking analog sticks off your PS4 remote and sticking them on a handheld and miniaturizing them. That's how these feel. And the placement of the controls, the buttons are very clicky and they feel very good. They're just all around amazing. And also just the cool styling, like the cool clear acrylic styling of the buttons. Really cool. It adds a whole new coolness factor to this. And combined with the stereo speakers and the beautiful, beautiful 5-inch 1200 by 500, or no, 1200 by 600 display, and you got a pretty good package here. It's a magnificent device. The thing I wanted to get into, just the amount of things that this can do is amazing. Now if I go back to the web browser, I'm just going to go back here. Now actually I'm just going to quickly go out of here and I'm just going to pause the video here because I need to get a few things. I just want to get Facebook loaded up and stuff, and I don't want to make you wait like 30 seconds for me to do that. So I'll be right back. So I'm back. So I have the search results for Facebook, and I just want to demonstrate how fast this thing is. So let me just click on that, and this is loading the full desktop site. It's not like it's loading the mobile version. This is the full version of the site. There we go. I'm logged in, and there's my Facebook. There you go. And this is the full version of Facebook. You can upload and do everything all off the Vita. And everything loads. In probably the craziest thing is if I go down here, where is it? I'm gonna get a video up on Facebook, and this has full Flash player support. I don't even know what this is, but I just want to demonstrate the full Flash player support on the Vita. Come on. There we go. So as you can see, it has a little play option there, which this is very impressive for a small handheld gaming console. Like this, the only shoes this thing has to fill is to be able to play Need for Speed Most Wanted, and that's all this thing has to do. There we go. Oh, whoops, I forgot you can't play it in a window mode. You have to open it up into the full screen. But there we go. This has full Flash player support, and this is playing it currently at 30 frames per second. That's what plays all its videos at. So there you go. That's Facebook. All loaded up here. Now I'm going to try loading up I'm just going to try loading up a fairly demanding website. I know Facebook was fairly demanding, but I'm going to load up another website and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So I have Apple.com loaded up here, as you can see. And as you can see, everything loads up so well. And not only that, but also just amazing. Like, it's astonishing what this thing can load with, like, just using the Flash player support that this thing has. If I go to Mac, for it to load. There we go. Everything's all coming up on here. It's all fully loading the site. Also, of course, you don't have to use the little mouse. You can just use your fingers. Which, another thing that the 3DS doesn't do, and I'm going to compare this loading up Apple's website, and then I'm going to do it side by side with a time-lapse, because, yeah, that's how slow the 3DS is. It actually requires a time-lapse. I'm going to do that in a few seconds, and I will be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I couldn't even get this to load. It wouldn't even load Apple's website, so I've just kind of given up on it. The 3DS or the Vita only took about 2 seconds to load Apple's site fully, but yeah, this is very, very slow. This has about the same specifications as a Nintendo GameCube, so that pretty much says it all right there. And therefore, that is all I'm going to be doing on the 3DS. So now moving back onto the PlayStation Vita. The PlayStation Vita does have a longer boot up time than the 3DS, but the 3DS has a much smaller operating system load. This actually has, well, you can pretty much say this has a full-fledged I guess you could say Sony OS on it, like custom Sony OS. So it actually has a full OS to open, whereas the 3DS basically has the same equivalent to load as a feature phone from 2009. So that says it all right there. The only thing I don't like about the Vita is how Sony has to make everything proprietary. Now, what I mean by this is if you look at the top right here, you would expect it to be like Nintendo, where they just basically use slightly modified SD cards, but SD cards you can still get to fit in there. Also, they just have the slot on the side. But no, Sony uses custom SD cards. These are just SD cards in slightly different casing that they made. Like, these are just SD cards in slightly different casing, because if you actually look at the contacts and everything, they're an SD card. They've just slightly modified the casing so that a normal SD card cannot fit in this small slot in the top. Also, another thing, I'm not going to pop it out, but they also use their own version of a micro SD card, but it's the same thing, and they also cost twice as much. So, thanks a lot, Sony. Really appreciate it. I actually don't. Getting back onto the subject of the things I like about the Vita, another thing is how unnecessarily good the camera is. This is supposed to be a handheld gaming device, and none of the games even use a camera except Tearaway, which is kind of like a custom Sony game, so you can see me. Hi. That's the front-facing camera, but if I switch it around, this has an astonishingly good camera for a Vita. Like, I can't even just get over how good this actually is. Now, if I go in here and I quickly just scroll over, there we go. There's a picture of a beautiful farmer's field that I took on this PlayStation Vita out of a car window, and a dirty car window, and still looks absolutely amazing. I believe this has a 8-megapixel camera, so I guess that kind of says it. But also, another thing I wanted to go into, this thing can support media. You can just download MP4s online, and or not MP3s, I meant, or MP4s, I meant, oh, what do you... sorry, I don't know why I can't think of the file format, but you can download basic movies onto Vita offline or online and actually play it on here. And now I'm gonna go into another thing that I like about the Vita. Another thing that I love about the PlayStation Vita is it has GPS, of course, in it, so that means it can use things like Google Maps. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And one thing that's kind of funny is I've actually used this to navigate us around, actually one time we were in Washington, or no, we were in Seattle, and our GPS stopped working, so my phone that I have, which at the time was broken and barely worked, but it was still able to get a signal, I was able to get a mobile hotspot to work on it, and I actually used this to navigate us around Washington. Or not Washington. Why do I keep saying Washington? It's not Washington. Get that into your head. It's Seattle. Anyways, yeah, I was actually able to get us around Seattle with this, which I think is pretty cool. Like, if I go and click on this, there we go. See, you can bring up directions and everything, which is pretty cool. And it also will Google will actually it has the voice on it, so it'll actually talk to you and tell you directions and stuff. So pretty cool. So that pretty much sums up my whole Vita review. Sorry it's not very good. I'm doing this all on a cell phone, so sorry. It's not going to be the best quality, but yeah, so that's my whole little review on my PlayStation Vita. So I'll see you guys later.